39. Some anniversary of 39. So anyway, Mr. Boudreau, I'm from Louisiana. You know a question I'm going to ask you. How's our 5-year leasing plan coming for oil and gas development in the Gulf of Mexico?
We missed your birthday by 1 day. We'll be publishing the 5-year program tomorrow.
That's fantastic. And my birthday will be no inhibitions and no restrictions by the administration. That'll be the birthday present?
The birthday present to Chairman Manchin is that the program is definitely informed by the IRA and the connection that the IRA makes between offshore oil and gas leasing and renewable energy leasing.
So then, staying on the ocean bed, Dr. Jurgen, you mentioned we need kind of this technological breakthrough in order to source these critical minerals. But I'm told the ocean beds are full of it, and that we actually have the technology to mine off the ocean bed. And intuitively to me, if you're just scraping rocks off the bottom, it is not the same as an open pit mine. Are we anywhere close to deploying that technology as a means to address this issue?
I think it's very early days. There are some companies that are working on it and have been pursuing it for a couple of years. A lot of minerals there, but there'll be a lot of controversy as well about scraping the bottom of the ocean, I think.
There would be, but nonetheless, there's controversy about anything, right? Mr. Boudreau, is there any effort by the administration to pursue the mining of minerals off the ocean floor?
So I don't want to open up a whole nother can of worms, which was, a big knockdown, drag out, including during the Obama administration. But one area that would be helpful is law of the sea implementation, which provides a framework for accessing.
And I understand that we're actually losing territory because of our delay in implementation, or at least adoption of the treaty, but that if we adopted it, that could potentially open up the next version of the shale revolution to address our unmet needs.
I think that's one of the reasons to adopt the law of the sea treaty.
Let me ask you, going back to lithium mines, and you say it'll take however long in order to permit. In the county in Arkansas that borders Louisiana, they are now mining lithium from the prehistoric ocean, which is below the Smackover Formation. Now, of course, I'm looking at that saying that prehistoric ocean extends about 25 miles south into Louisiana. And so I'm interested in exploring that. Intuitively, and by the way, Exxon has just made a big investment there, so this is more than a conversation piece, it's money being staked. Intuitively to me, if you're extracting from deep down and you're processing above, that is going to be less problematic in terms of permitting than if you have an open pit mine. Knowing that I've given you a theoretical, but does that intuition sound good to you? And is there anything USGS could do to see if those subterranean resources are viable?
Yeah, I think this goes to an earlier question of Dr. Jurgen. There is massive opportunity for technological development, especially with respect to lithium. And so one of the efforts from so mining, sourcing, all important, but one of the main and most promising lines of effort is technological development, both brining, and there's a project we're working on in Southern California focused on deriving lithium from other activities. And I think the type of opportunities you're describing, while they require further technological development, are activities that should be supported.
But it seems as if this is already taking place. Again, they've been processing lithium out of this Smackover Formation in Arkansas for some time now. I think they may also be getting cobalt, but I'm a little bit kind of having to think about that twice. So I just encourage that because I think in the bipartisan infrastructure bill, we actually had dollars for USGS to go out and find more resources. And of course, I'd like them to find them in my state for all the reasons, not least of which it would supply the rest of the United States with the needed resource.
Yeah, I understand and agree.
Lastly, in your analysis, in your life cycle analysis of greenhouse gas emissions, et cetera, associated with new developments in the United States, do you take into account the life cycle greenhouse gas emission profile of a project overseas? So, for example, if we're trying to supplant cobalt coming from the Congo that is used with child labor and goes to China where they use coal as primary feedstock for energy, Yes, we may have a little bit of a footprint here, but it's substantially less than the life cycle of the other. Is that taken into consideration? Because sometimes it seems like we make the perfect the enemy of the good.
Yeah, so agree completely that when you're looking at any particular project, viewing it within a global context is important. I think one of the opportunities and benefits for more reliable permitting of critical minerals in the United States is exactly what you described as reduced carbon footprint.
Yeah, but again, are we comparing ourselves to that which we would be competing against, or are we comparing ourselves to some pure standard? Because it seems oftentimes that we're comparing ourselves to a pure standard, not recognizing that we, as somebody mentioned earlier, are actually doing it with the lowest carbon footprint in the world oftentimes.
Yeah, so in the realm of permitting critical minerals, while relevant, carbon emissions are often the less significant impacts compared to, in particular, impacts on water resources.
Thank you. I yield. Thank you.